Hey guys, Marcos Villegas here, Fight Up TV, giving you guys a recap of the fights that happened this weekend. Great weekend in combat sports, filled with knockouts on both the MMA front and the boxing front. Lucas Mattyhsse, the Argentinian machine, handling and kicking the crap out of Lamont Peterson, finishing him off in the third round. This dude is the real deal, setting up a fight now with Danny Garcia, and then Vitor Belfort, knocking out Luke Rockhold via spinning back kick and then pounding him out on the ground. Who would have thought that Vitor would add that kick to his repertoire, knowing what kind of fighter he is. And let's go ahead and start off with the MMA side of things, and then I'll end with the boxing side of things. A lot of controversy with Vitor Belfort in this fight and now with this win. You know, it's no secret that Vitor's on TRT, and a lot of people were angry over the fact that there's no repercussions for Vitor being on TRT, and that he always fights in Brazil, and many saying, you know, the UFC is shielding him and condoning his TRT use for booking him in Brazil, where they don't test that, they allow that. Now, given the fight, you know, people say, well, you know, it shouldn't be counted as a legit win because Vitor's on TRT. You know, and a lot of people counter back, well, you know, that kick is done skill-wise. With or without TRT, Vitor would have been able to land that kick. Reality is, when you really look at it, you know, if Vitor wasn't on TRT, he wouldn't be able to compete at the level he's competing at now. The reason why he got on TRT was not because he had low testosterone. It was because the reason why athletes, let me rephrase that's bad. He does have low testosterone, but that's due to prior steroid use. It's, you know, a no-brainer. But the reason why fighters take TRT is because it adds in recovery time. It makes their bodies recover faster, makes them heal better, and allows them to compete at that higher level that they wouldn't be. Now, you notice, you know, it's usually older fighters that are taking TRT, though usually it's not the case. Nate Marquardt, you know, is not that old compared to Hendo and Vitor. But when you look at it, without TRT, where would these fighters be? These fighters, in my opinion, and you guys might share the same opinion as I do, in my opinion, these fighters without TRT would not be competing at the level they're competing at now without TRT. So if you take TRT out of the equation, would Vitor Belfort be able to fight at the level he's fighting at and fight the competition that he's fighting at without TRT? So you got to take that into account. I'm totally against TRT. I feel it's cheating. I feel that if your body can't heal the way it used to, if your body can't produce the testosterone the way it used to, that's nature's way and your body's way of telling you you should retire. Your body can't handle what it could handle back when you were in your 20s. That's it. You know, that's your body's way of saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore. It's time for you to retire. And putting, you know, this testosterone in your system is an unnatural way of healing your body, because your body can't naturally heal itself like it used to. So take that into account, though, as well. You know, if you're bashing Vitor, and I got to be fair here, if you're bashing Vitor, you should be bashing the other TRT users. Hendo's on TRT, Marquardt's on TRT, Sonin's on TRT. You guys should be equally bashing these guys as well. You know, so Vitor shouldn't be getting the brunt of this, and I know he is because of the type of knockout that he scored. With that said, it was still a beautiful knockout to see. It was, wow, it was a thing of beauty. It came out of nowhere. You know, bad luck for Luke. He was never expecting that shot, and that's always the shot that knocks you out, that hurts you, is the shot that you're never expecting. And, you know, where does Belfort go from here? People are saying, well, he should get a crack at Anderson Silva again after this Weidman fight. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Belfort Silva too in Brazil, you know, because, you know, Vitor's not going to come over to the States and fight because of the whole TRT thing. Hendo versus Belfort 2. I think that'd be a great fight at 205. It would be a rematch for Belfort. He lost to Hendo back in Pride. And then, funny enough, tested positive for elevated levels of testosterone. So that tells you something right there. Why he's on TRT, because of prior past abuse. So, you know, Belfort, Hendo 2 would be awesome. How does he do against Anderson Silva? Well, we don't know. You know, this is a new and enhanced Vitor Belfort. You know, it could be a lot different. I felt that he approached the Silva fight with too much emotion, and he let that get in his way of his game plan. And you know, with a fighter like Anderson, you know, you never know when he's gonna end up being old in there, because you turn old overnight in combat sports. You know, just one of those days where you just can't react like you used to. Your training camp goes well, but once push comes to shove, when you're in there, you know, it's a whole different thing. Now moving on to the boxing side of things, Lucas Mattysse, holy crap! I predicted him beating Lamont Peterson, but later in the fight, geez, wow, this guy's a beast, man. The past guys he's fought, I think the past 12 guys he's fought, he's had 23 knockdowns. He's knocked down every single opponent of his twice in a fight, for the exception of Mike Dallas, who he knocked out with a punch in like the first round. This guy's legit. This guy's insane. I've been saying this of Mattysse for the longest time. I feel he's the best 140-pounder in boxing right now. His boxing ability is severely underrated. I felt that he beat Zab Judah. I felt that he beat Devin Alexander, and I actually felt that he boxed better than Devin Alexander. And that Alexander fight made me really see how well Lucas Mattysse can box. The dude can box. He can box. He just chooses not to now because of these stupid decisions that haven't gone his way. You could technically make the argument that Lucas Mattysse should be an undefeated fighter. He should be 35-0 right now with that Judah and Alexander. Those two decisions, which a lot of fans feel that Mattysse was screwed out of those decisions, that he really and rightfully won those fights. Now, with this performance here, you know, you can make the argument that a style that Lucas Mattysse would have trouble with would be a counter-punching, slick, fast fighter. But no one in the 140-pound division poses that threat to him. He'll beat everybody. Amir Khan, he'll knock him out. The chin, you know, once Mattysse lands that on Khan, he'll knock him out. You can make the argument too, you know, well, look at Maidana. You know, Maidana couldn't knock out Amir Khan. Look at Matysse's knockout and knockdown record compared to Maidana. Safe to say Mattysse is a stronger puncher. If he fights Alexander again, he'll beat him, though Alexander's now it's 147. He just disposed of Lamont Peterson. I'm trying to think who else is in the 140-pound division. And, you know, him and Danny Garcia is coming up next. And that's a tough fight for Danny Garcia. You know, when you look at the style-wise and match them up, with who's favored to win, you always say, like, okay, who's faster, who's stronger, who's technically better, who has better defense, who's more athletic. You take all of these things into account, and you also take into account the opponents that both the guys have in common. Now, Danny and Mattysse, off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody that they really have in common, but seeing that, you know, speed-wise, Danny's quicker, power-wise, Mattysse. Boxing skill-wise, I honestly think Mattysse, from what I saw in that Alexander fight, is a better boxer, better technically. Go look at that Devin Alexander fight, and you'll be surprised. You'll be like, wow, this guy can box, man. This guy's legit. Looking at defense, Danny gets hit a lot. Danny starts out slow. It'll be a good fight. I think it'll last 10 to 12 rounds, but I'm picking Mattysse. I don't see it from Danny. I don't think he's quick enough. Danny sometimes likes to stay in there and kind of brawl, and you bet your ass Danny's going to approach this fight extremely smart, extremely cautious, and you're going to see him hit the top and hit the body like he did with Zab Judah, get in and out, in and out. And I feel if Mattysse were to face a guy who's fast, who punches in and out with pretty decent defense, he'd beat him because the dude's slow and he plods a lot, you know. Say like Mattysse were to fight a Floyd Mayweather Jr., Mayweather would smoke him. Not for the fact, and not taking anything away from Mattysse, but stylistically, that's a nightmare for a fighter like Mattysse. Mattysse Garcia is supposed to happen in September. I can't wait. I feel for, you know, the longest time Mattysse is the best fighter at 140 pounds. And when you look at him, when they say, you know, the next Manny Pacquiao, he's done a lot of the things that Pacquiao did when no one knew about Pacquiao. When he was knocking out Barrera, when he's knocking out Morales, Diaz, all these guys before Oscar De La Hoya. A lot of that hype, a lot of those knockdowns, you can correlate to Lucas Matthysse. The guy's a beast. Out of the 3 Argentinian fighters, to me, Matthysse has always been the better of the 3 between Maidana, Martinez, and props to him, man. I'm glad he's getting this recognition now, and the guy's a beast, man. I'd be scared at 140 pounds. If he moves up to 147, there's a lot more interesting matchups there. I think there's only one person that could really beat him. Well, 2 people that could really beat him at 147 pounds, and that's Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather Jr. So on that note, TRT's bad. It's illegal, but you know, Vitor, it's a good knockout, man. He impressed me with that knockout, though. I don't really agree with his TRT use. Mattysse is a beast. Keep your eye on him. Him versus Garcia in September. And rest in peace, Macho Man Randy Savage. It's 2 years today that he died. And Macho Man was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. I grew up on Macho Man. I grew up on all those guys from the 80s. I'm an 80s child. And, you know, rest in peace, Macho Man. I know he's snapping into a Slim Jim up there. And, you know, fondest memory of Macho Man quickly is his match at SummerSlam against Ric Flair, the match made in heaven, match made in hell. I think it was, yeah, it was with Ric Flair for the title. And, yeah, man, it's sad to see all these wrestlers go way, way too young, you know. And, yeah, with that note, follow us on Facebook. Like our page, facebook.com/FightHubTV. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/FightHub. Follow us on Twitter at FightHubTV. Follow me on Twitter at Me Llamo Marcos, not Milamo. Me Llamo, it's Spanish for I am Marcos. Me Llamo Marcos. Follow me on Instagram at It's Marcos Villegas. It's Marcos Villegas. And follow us for the Fight Hub, on Instagram at FightHubTV. Take it easy, guys. UFC big event this weekend. Kane versus Bigfoot. Stupid matchup. Kane's going to smash the dude, I think. This rematch should have never been made, but it's the only guy that Kane has left to fight. Till next time, see you guys later.